Aries, welcome to your astrology reading for the month of June. So the way this is structured, this is going to be applicable for your rising sign, your sun sign, and your moon sign. And so your rising sign is the one that you're probably not the most familiar with. If you run your birth chart, it is your ascendant, your first house, the ruler of your first house. And so it is how other people see you, especially when they first meet you. Your sun sign is how you express yourself to other people. And so you can kind of see right there that outward expression, how people see you. And then your moon sign is how you kind of feel everything internally, how you process everything through an emotional lens. And so kind of jumping into the month of June here. So we have a lot of Gemini energy and a lot of Cancer energy. And so right away, early in the month, this is going to impact your third house. So for you, Gemini impacts your third house. Cancer impacts your fourth house. Third house being the house of communication, short distance travel, siblings, neighbors, things like that. Fourth house is your house of home. And so really a lot is happening here between those two. So for you, when Mercury enters Gemini on the 3rd at 3:37 in the morning Eastern time, so adjust for your time zone, we'll have a few things happening here. So when Mercury enters Gemini, it'll be conjunct Jupiter, also in Gemini. And so Jupiter just moved into Gemini a few days before this, probably about a week before this. And so you've got a lot of energy sitting in that third house of communication. You've got Mercury, who rules communication. Mercury is also the ruler of Gemini. And so that right there, sitting in the third house, is a lot of communication. It's also processing information. And then you've got this Jupiter in Gemini energy. So Jupiter is actually at its fall here. It's the ruler of Sagittarius, which is the opposite sign. Probably doesn't mean a whole lot other than Jupiter's still positive, even if it's not at its most, its light's not shining its brightest right now. But that is sitting in your third house. And so when it comes to the conversations that you would be having, these would be very detailed conversations. This would be talking about maybe growth and expansion in an area of your life. Could even be short distance travel. So short distance is something that you can get to by car. We'll also have Mercury conjunct Uranus in the sign of Taurus. And so these conversations, when you think about Jupiter and Gemini and the growth, how does that relate to any kind of changes that are happening in your finances? Because that Uranus and Taurus occupies or is sitting in your second house. So Taurus rules that second house for you. Uranus is sitting in that energy. And so this is practical changes that are taking place because Uranus is one of the planets of transformation. But Taurus is also about what you value. And then with the second house here, this could be your personal finances. This would be money that you already have. And so what kind of changes are you making here? Is there something that you're trying to do and grow your personal finances? Would this be conversations with people who have experience in this subject? So maybe some sort of financial advisor, or maybe somebody that you just see through that lens. That could be highlighted here when Mercury enters Gemini. We'll also have Mercury sextile Neptune in Pisces. And so Neptune in Pisces is in your 12th house. So 12th house is really those things that are hidden. Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune is all about your dreams, your goals. Well, so is Pisces. Neptune is the ruler of Pisces. And so really, when you think about internally, what it is that you're trying to do, what it is that maybe you're trying to do behind the scenes, where do you want to kind of see your ideal self, be your ideal self here, because that is also 12th house energy. It's that kind of internal you, that subconscious you. All of this conversation around maybe changes and growth to your personal finances, how does that help you or create some sort of opportunity for you to be the person you want to be? Because that's what this is all about. We'll also have Mercury in Gemini sextile Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so Pluto is the other planet of transformation. Pluto being retrograde indicates that instead of seeing all of that transformation outside of you, this is all going to happen internally. This is sitting in your 11th house. So Aquarius, all about liberating type of change. Pluto, more change energy. And so all of these conversations are opening up avenues for you to maybe change the way that you interact with your friends. This would be like a group of friends. And so if it's something connected to your money, your savings, this could relate to your spending habits, your saving habits, things like that. And so is there something happening here where maybe you want to go out less or maybe spend less when you're out with your friends? These would be internal changes that are happening within you, but have an impact on that group of friends. And then on the 6th, we'll have the new moon in Gemini. And so that's going to happen at 8:38 in the morning Eastern time. And so Gemini, again, I mean, we're talking about lots of communication, lots of expression, the sun moving into, or the sun actually already being in Gemini, but now having the moon here. And so with the new moon, the sun and the moon are at the same degree point in the sky. And so the energy blends seamlessly. And so when it comes to expressing yourself, because that's the sun energy, and then you've got the moon, it's how you feel. And so this is really expressing your feelings, probably in some sort of detail here around maybe some of the growth that you're going through, some of the changes that are taking place, and how you can best incorporate those into your life. We do also have the sun and moon conjunct Venus in the sign of Gemini. And so they're actually all three at the same degree point. So it's not just the sun and the moon. We also have Venus in the mix. Venus rules what you value, rules relationships. Think of all of like the beautiful kind of things, Mother Nature type of energy, its growth, its expansion in a different way than Jupiter is, because Venus is also a benefic planet. And so it wants to bring a lot of positive change to you. And so when it comes to maybe expressing your feelings, maybe it's more than just money. Maybe it's more about your relationships and what you value, and really maybe you want to invest in something that you value from that perspective. Art always seems to come to mind when I think about investing in what you value. And that could be kind of highlighted here as well, because Venus would rule things that you find beautiful. We'll also have the sun and moon conjunct Mercury. And so this one a little bit more, not as strong of a connection here. This would be Mercury and Gemini. I mean, really more communication. So again, communication across the board being highlighted here, but there's a lot of synergy between the way that you want to express yourself, the way that you are expressing yourself, how all of that plays together. There is also an opportunity here. But let me get to the South Node before I talk about the North Node. So we have the Sun and Moon, again, both in Gemini. They're trine the South Node in Libra. They're going to be connected to the North Node as well. So South Node in Libra. Libra is all about relationships, harmony, balance. South Node is really what you feel comfortable doing. So these would be lessons from a previous life brought into this life. And so think of it almost as like your default setting. And so how do you feel comfortable? What is it that you feel comfortable with when it comes to relationships? Because this energy, this aspect, the planets talking to each other this way, really, I mean, the trine, it's an easy flowing type of energy. So when it comes to expressing how you feel about your relationships, this is something that's very harmonious, very balanced in that respect. We also have the sun and moon sextile the North Node in Aries. And so if you feel very comfortable being in a relationship or talking about your feelings about being in a relationship, kind of on the other side of this sun and moon and the way that you're expressing yourself is actually creating an opportunity for you to really assert yourself in some sort of way here, because Aries is all about self. Libra is all about being together with another person. It's that coupled energy. And so it's creating an opportunity for you to maybe assert yourself. And maybe how does that relate into your relationships? How do you be more assertive, be more of who you want to be? Maybe standing up for yourself. That could be highlighted here. We'll also have the sun and moon square Saturn in Pisces. And so the square does create some sort of obstacle or challenge here. So Saturn in Pisces sitting in your 12th house. This is, again, all about your kind of inner self, your subconscious, maybe things that you keep hidden behind the scenes. And so Saturn in Pisces indicates that there is some sort of work that maybe you're doing internally for yourself, or something that you're doing behind the scenes. And so there's some sort of obstacle or challenge. So when you're expressing yourself and how you feel about things, there is just this discord with this Saturn and Pisces energy. So this, I want to say it's almost like a conflict type of energy. So they don't line up. You can work with the energy. That's not to say that you can't. You definitely can. It just does require work in order for you to kind of overcome that obstacle here. And then on the 9th, we'll have Mars enter the sign of Taurus. So that's going to happen at 12:35 a.m. Eastern time. And so Mars and Taurus. So Mars is the ruler of Aries. So it is very action oriented. Taurus is very grounded, very practical, very loving type of energy. Mars will be conjunct Chiron in Aries. And so Chiron in Aries, not a new concept for this year. It has come up a few times. And if you remember back to the eclipse on April 8th, it was highlighted there specifically. And so what this is doing is it's giving you an opportunity. Well, it's actually better than an opportunity, because this conjunction is a blending of the energies. And so any kind of practical action you're taking when it comes to your personal finances is really going to help you to heal any wounds connected to maybe how you want to be seen in public, because your Chiron in Aries impacts your physical self. And so this is that self that other people see for you. Whereas the Mars in Taurus is about your personal finances. So really kind of the way that you are maybe taking some sort of action, saving, something like that, kind of helps you be seen in a better light, or in a way that you want to be seen. I should phrase it that way. We'll also have Mars square the moon in Cancer. So again, Mars in Taurus, a very grounded, practical steps that you're taking. So this is very action oriented. Square the moon in Cancer. And so the moon is the ruler of Cancer. And this is all about expressing your feelings. This is really getting deep into those feelings. Cancer is a very emotional sign. And so what this is doing for you is when it comes to the actions you're taking in your personal finances, it is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to your home life, the way that you feel at home. Could be some sort of like mother figure as well. I mean, Cancer does rule motherhood. And so that might be highlighted here. And so it's just creating some sort of obstacle or challenge. This could indicate that, like, as an example, if you are trying to save money for a specific reason, but you also really want to invest in your home or use it to kind of like work on your home in some sort of way, or buy furniture or whatever it is. And so this would be some sort of obstacle or challenge. This is something that you can work through. It just requires diligence on your part. And then we'll also have Mars square Pluto retrograde in Aquarius. And so again, obstacles and challenges. So the action that you're taking in your personal finances does create some sort of obstacle or challenge to the changes you're trying to make with you, within you, and how you relate to your friends. And so again, when you think about your spending habits, what's changing here, what needs to change here, what do you want to change here, and then really finding a way to kind of overcome those obstacles and challenges when it comes to any kind of changes in your friend group. And these would be internal changes. And then on the 17th, we'll have Venus enter Cancer. So that's going to happen at 2:20 in the morning Eastern time. And when Venus enters Cancer, so Venus, one of the benefic planets, so Venus again rules relationships and harmony, wants things in balance. Here, Cancer is all about that deep emotional connection. And so Venus in Cancer is really that deep emotional connection, maybe with another person, definitely getting in touch with your feelings here. For you, the Venus in Cancer energy is sitting in your 4th house, and then it's conjunct the Sun in Gemini in your 3rd house. And so Venus in Cancer, what do you really love about your home? What do you really enjoy about your home and your home life? And maybe how that whole structure is kind of has taken shape. And how does that relate to you expressing yourself? Because it feels a lot like when you go into your home, it feels the way that you want it to feel. It is decorated the way you want it to be decorated. It is almost like your sanctuary. It just feels like you. It doesn't feel like it's something out of a magazine that you just wouldn't feel comfortable living in. It feels like this is something that you want. You're expressing yourself within your home. We'll also have Venus in Cancer conjunct Mercury in Gemini. And so Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, I mean, we're really talking about a lot of communication here. And so your self-expression is really reflected in your living space. So that's really being highlighted here. And it's what you value. It's what you enjoy. There's something really pleasant about this energy, something that you really love about it. We'll also have Venus trine the moon in Libra. And so what this is doing here is the home life that you've set up for yourself has created some sort of easy flow with the relationships that you're trying to have. So if there is a significant relationship in your life, there is room for another person here. It's not like you've built this entire castle for yourself and there's no room for anybody else. This to me indicates that there is room for somebody else. So if you are thinking about, or maybe having conversations with somebody about moving in together or something along those lines, that could be highlighted here. There's definitely room for another person in your home life. We also have Venus sextile Mars in Taurus. And so Venus, again, in Cancer, your 4th house. And so what do you love about your house? And then what kind of opportunity is that creating for you? Because you have an opportunity to take some sort of action in your personal finances. And so if we kind of go back to my earlier hypothetical, if you're in an environment or in a relationship where you're talking about moving in together and that person would end up moving in with you, if that's the scenario here, that's creating some sort of opportunity. Maybe now you can save more money because you have somebody else contributing to the bills, something along those lines. But this is really creating some sort of opportunity for you to continue taking some sort of practical, grounded action when it comes to your personal finances. We'll also have Venus in Cancer square Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune in Pisces sitting in your 12th house. So when it comes to what you value at home, creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to that inner part of you that wants to be a certain way. This is that ideal self, who you want to be. So it is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge here. If it does relate to spending, because a lot of money is coming up for you, this can indicate that you have spent a lot of money on your home, and maybe you have this idea of yourself of being some sort of like entrepreneur, and that requires you to save money. And so that could create some sort of odd here, some sort of conflict that needs to be resolved. And then on the 17th, we'll have Mercury under the sign of Cancer. So that's going to happen at 5:07 in the morning Eastern time. And so that actually happens the same day that Venus enters Cancer. And so we just talked about Venus entering Cancer. So now we have Mercury entering Cancer. So when it comes to expressing your feelings, that's Mercury in Cancer. And so Mercury will be conjunct Venus in Cancer. That's going to happen at 0 degrees. So it's that initial degree point. This is a significant degree point because it's the start of something. And so lots of conversation, probably deep conversation, maybe with a significant other around your home life, because this is all about the 4th house. And so again, if you're in some sort of relationship and you want to take it to that level, this does look like it's a pretty good time to have those conversations, if not actually take action on them. But there's a lot of expression, a lot of conversation around, okay, well, what do I want at home? And how do I bring things together within my home? How do I bring this relationship together within my home? We'll also have Mercury in Cancer conjunct the Sun in Gemini. And so conversations around your home, conversations around maybe short distance travel. There could be, again, just maybe really clear self-expression. It doesn't have to be anything more significant than that, but there is a lot of conversation happening here. We'll also have Mercury trine the moon in Scorpio. And so again, Mercury is sitting in your house of home. So lots of conversation around your home, blending with whatever is transpiring here, whatever is transforming, and how you feel about that. Because the moon in Scorpio is about what you feel, how you kind of process everything emotionally, but Scorpio is transformation. And this is sitting in your 8th house, which is the house of transformation. So this is death and rebirth. This is also other people's money. And so again, kind of going back to that hypothetical of maybe moving in with somebody or somebody moving in with you, what kind of conversations. I mean, this is a really easygoing type of energy, really pleasant from that perspective. So if we're looking to maybe increase finances in a way that doesn't relate to your personal finances, 8th house energy would be money coming in from an outside source. So this would be a significant other. This could be your job or something else, wherever you could get money, including an inheritance, things like that. We'll also have Mercury square Neptune in Pisces. And so this Mercury energy, again, expressing yourself within your home, what you value within your home, how you feel about your home, is creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to that internal you. And so again, who do you ideally want to be? How do you want to be seen? Eventually outward, because it starts with an inward transformation. What is that inward goal that you have for yourself? That's that Neptune in Pisces. It could also indicate here that just because of the way that this is all kind of shaking out, you might have a hard time maybe even expressing yourself, because I'm seeing a lot of square to this Neptune and Pisces. So when it comes to your authentic self and who you are and who you want to be and how you want to be seen, it might be challenging for you to be able to express that. And so that is actually coming to light here. And so it's about finding a way to express yourself in a way that other people understand, because it feels like maybe you're being misunderstood. We'll also have the Sun enter the sign of Cancer. So that's going to happen on the 20th at 4:51 in the afternoon. And so again, for you, this is all 4th house energy when it comes to Cancer. So lots of energy focused on your home life this month. And so with the Sun in Cancer, the Sun will be conjunct Mercury and Venus, all in Cancer. And so Sun, self-expression, Mercury, lots of expression, lots of processing of information, Venus, bringing things together, a lot of harmony, a lot of balance, a lot of what you value, enjoy, find beautiful. All of these things are kind of coming together. And so this can indicate the way that, again, you're living your life, you've decorated your space, reflects who you are as a person, reflects just your personality. You really love that about this place. Harmony, balance. It could also be with that Venus energy, bringing more of that in. So this could, again, even though the 7th house isn't highlighted here, there's lots of opportunity here for maybe a relationship to go to that level. And so Venus, again, wants to bring things together. And that's really why I'm highlighting that. We'll also have the Sun square Neptune in Pisces. And so again, Sun sitting in your fourth house, your house of home, creating some sort of obstacle or challenge to this Neptune and Pisces energy. So when it comes to that inner you, is there some sort of obstacle to being able to express yourself? Because this is some sort of internal you, not an external you. And so there does seem to be some sort of obstacle or challenge to really being seen the way that you want to be seen, because really right now it's all still sitting within you. And then we have the full moon in the sign of Capricorn. So that's going to happen on the 21st at 9:08 p.m. Eastern time. And so we'll have the Sun sitting in Cancer, which Cancer is ruled by the moon. And we'll have the moon sitting in the sign of Capricorn. And so Cancer, Capricorn. So this is an interesting combination because Cancer represents mother, Capricorn represents father. And so what you're going to have here is this kind of push-pull between those types of energies. So it is expressing your feelings, opposite maybe some sort of sense of duty, some sort of sense of responsibility. And so this is where the push-pull is going to come into play. It's almost like this nurturing, playful side versus this sense of responsibility side. And so this is going to be a 4th house, 10th house energy for you, meaning that you want to express yourself and you are expressing yourself. You're fully reflected in your home life. But there is something about your work life that creates this kind of push-pull energy. They're very opposite from each other. Maybe you want to spend more time at home. Maybe this indicates that you have to spend a lot of time away from home, and you're trying to find that balance in between, because that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to find that kind of happy medium between these two energies. And so this is really emphasizing that work-life balance. And then we'll have the Sun. So what happens here during the full moon is because we'll have the Sun aspecting certain planets and then the moon. So you'll see that push-pull energy affect other things as well. And so we'll have the Sun conjunct Mercury. So that expressing yourself is going to come very easily to you. Whatever it is that you're feeling about your home and your home life, it's just going to flow easily from you. But we'll have the moon opposite that energy. And so the moon is saying, okay, well, maybe yes, it might be easy for you to talk about it, but maybe we're going to create some sort of obstacle to you being able to talk about it, or you're not going to be able to talk about it because your sense of responsibility has you at work longer. And so then you're not able to spend the time at home. You're not able to express yourself more at home. So there is that kind of push-pull. We'll have the Sun conjunct Venus. So again, when it comes to your 4th house, what you value, bringing things together, really kind of expressing yourself in that way and the things that you enjoy doing. The moon is going to be opposite Venus there. So if you, again, kind of maybe spending more time away from home because of work, this could be traveling for work, this could be something along those lines, but it's definitely some sort of push-pull between your home life and your work life and finding that kind of happy medium. And the interesting piece here is that the Sun and the moon will both square Neptune and Pisces. They just do it a little bit differently here. And so the way that you express yourself, that sense of duty that you feel, both of those individually are at odds, are creating some sort of challenge to you being who you want to be. And so this is, with this square energy, you can work through it. This is definitely like a Saturn type of energy where you just need to work on it. And so you can find that happy medium here. It just requires some work on your part in order to kind of get everything to kind of come together, because there is that lot of that square Neptune and Pisces. We'll also have the moon trine Mars and Taurus. And so very easygoing, very flowing type of energy. So that sense of duty that you feel at work, or that sense of responsibility, does align with what action you're taking when it comes to your personal finances. So if this is an instance where the more you work, the more you get paid, the more you get paid, the more you can save, that type of energy is being highlighted here. And what you're missing is kind of that intermediate step. It's like, okay, my sense of duty at work does allow me to save more money. It really kind of skips over the actual getting paid part to get to that final. We'll also have the moon tri-Chiron in Aries. And so that sense of duty that you feel at work, again, easy flowing energy to any kind of wounds around the way that you want to be seen. So what you're really doing here is highlighting that career expression, how you express yourself there, how people see you at work, that public reputation is helping you to really heal any kind of maybe insecurities that you have around the way that people view you. And then we have a big one here. So at the end of the month, we actually have Saturn station retrograde in the sign of Pisces. So that's going to happen on the 29th at 3:06 p.m. Eastern time. And so Saturn is all about work. So Saturn is actually considered like the father. So it's the ruler of Capricorn. It's actually sitting in the sign of Pisces. And so Pisces is all about your dreams, your wishes. What is it that you really want to do? If you've been doing any kind of work, and it would be external work, maybe not necessarily for you since that sits in your 12th house, which is all internal, Saturn retrograde is actually going to divert all of that effort that you would normally put out in. And so you're going to be really focused on yourself here. And so Saturn retrograde in your 12th house, it's really about, okay, we've seen a lot of obstacles and challenges coming out this month in maybe expressing yourself the way that you want to from an inner standpoint. Like, who are you deep down, and how do you express that in a way that people understand? How do you get to be the person you want to be from that perspective? And so Saturn retrograde, what it's doing here will be trine Mercury in Cancer. And so what it's doing is the work that you're going to be doing internally will flow into your home environment. So you are going to start to see some ways to maybe work with some of this challenge and obstacle energy that has been flowing throughout the month. We'll also have Saturn retrograde trine Venus in the sign of Cancer. So again, more of that 4th house energy, any kind of work that you're doing to yourself, because we did see obstacles and challenges between that inner you and how you are at home. And so now this is about really finding that harmony, finding that balance between the two, and really getting that energy to work together. This is an easy flowing energy. The work that you're doing is going to be reflected in your home environment. And then we'll also have Saturn retrograde sextile Mars in Taurus. And so kind of back to your personal finances, all of the work that you're doing internally is also creating opportunities, again, for you to have the financial security that you're looking for, that savings account or whatever it is that you want for yourself when it comes to that second house. It could be investments. Again, whatever you're trying to do to maybe grow your own money, because we saw that at the beginning of the month. And so working on yourself, really using that energy to maybe increase your bank account. So that's being highlighted here. Now that one is an opportunity you are going to have to take advantage of. So it's not something that's going to flow easily for you. So Aries, you actually have a really good month of June. So I wish you all the best. If you like this video, please like, share, and subscribe. And I will see you next time. Take care.